Hello, you. How we doing, guys? It's Sunday night, and there's there's 5 of us here, and you're in for a fright. And we are back after a wee hiatus. I've been away doing things out of town and whatnot, and we are here to tackle the Vashta Nerada and Classic Doctors, New Monsters, box set volume 2. Well, has the cover there. And we're here for a double dunter here with a double bill with Tom Baker and Knight of the Vashta Nerada and Paul McGann, respectively, in Day of the Vashta Nerada. Well, there you go. Thank you very much. Day of the Vashta Nerada, which is the sequel, albeit all due to the fact that one line was uttered within the audio. Nevertheless, we are here and we are going to get into this. The Vashta Nerada is essentially their 3rd and 4th outing, if you don't include the Matt Smith video game. Online video game that was published. So here we go. Before we get to that, let's get to this. It's your panel for this evening. All the way from Massachusetts, it's Sue. Sue, how we doing?
Good, thanks.
Good to see you. All the way from the Thunder, from down under. AJ, how's it going on Monday, mate?
Hi guys, how are you?
Good to have you, mate. Down the bowels of hell, waiting for Twin Peaks to air. It's Texas Tim Wells. How we doing, Tim? Groovy, man, yeah. Bruce Campbell could not have said it better. And all the way from NYC, it's Mr. Will Medina. How we doing, Will?
Hey, now, how you doing, everybody?
Good to have you, mate. So, the Vashta Nerada, interesting villain, introduced by Stephen Moffat and David Tennant's 3rd season, where we also had the introduction of River Song, where we had an entity that essentially stripped flesh through the bone and yum, yum, yum. It's a parasitic race. They hunt in swarms, and they like their flesh, and they like their food. So now Big Finish have decided to tackle them, and I must admit they've done a very good job, and the sound effect for when they strip flesh for the bone wasn't too bad, actually. It wasn't too corny. So where to begin? We will begin with Knight of the Vashta Nerada, starring Tom Baker, alongside Will, who was the companion for that set. Sorry, what was the actress's name?
Nobody. Everybody was from the planet.
No, everybody was for the planet, but
you had Amanda Steele, Georgia Donnelly.
That's the one. Who was the actress? Amanda Steele. She's on the cover.
Pam Ferris.
There you go. Okay, Knight of the Vashta Nerada, folks. Tom Baker and Pam Ferris. Opening thoughts. Let's begin with AJ. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I really liked this story. It was good to have in a creepy fun fair. It was that's something that hasn't really been done yet in Doctor Who, except for Greatest Show in the Galaxy, but it wasn't really creepy.
Yep.
The Vashta Nerada were used really well, and I like the whole thing where it's in the dark, and you can't tell what's going to eat you and what's not going to eat you. Mm-hmm. So it was a good thing. I liked it.
Good. Thank you, mate. Sue, how about you? Opening thoughts, Knight of the Vashta Nerada.
All right. Tom Baker, once again, bringing brilliance and otherworldliness to his performance. It was really cool. And
okay.
the Vashta Nerada, like the enhancements or whatever, pretty cool.
All right. Thank you. Well, how about you, mate? Opening thoughts, Knight of the Vashta Nerada. TV.
This is one of the best audios I heard in quite a while, especially with Tom Baker in it. And notice right in the beginning, he just left one of his companions to greener pastures, and then we had to guess which one it was.
Exactly, yeah.
It was
damn
pretty
you,
funny.
Nick Briggs, yeah.
Which is pretty funny. Oh, this stood out as one. I haven't heard. It got me really spooky on this story, and the way it ended was pretty messed up.
Pretty dark.
But, yeah, pretty dark, especially when Tom Baker one, because a lot of time it's funny. So that's pretty good. But you can say like 1 or 2 of the characters got their just desserts, because one of them just thought of them as a trophy for her war, and the other one just kept thinking about it as a planet for amusement park. So
money adventure. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a great story. We talk more later.
All right, mate. Timbo, how about you? Knight of the Vashta Nerada, mate?
Well, I agree with everybody. It was good, but I thought it was kind of by the numbers in a way, because the guest characters were all a bit cartoony, like stereotypical character types.
Red shirts.
I mean, and it was, like I said, it was good, but it just kind of like, I don't know. It was kind of obvious, you know, like the rich bitch that built the park. She was going to go off, and sure enough, they were going to be on the ship, weren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, you knew that was going to happen long before it did. And I agree with you, though. It was darker than you would have thought, because at first it seemed a bit too comedy for my life. Because I thought it should be scary, you know. But but it wasn't bad at all. It just was kind of, like I said, it was just kind of plain.
Fair dues. For me, I agree with the guys. I enjoyed this. I'll concur with Tim. It was a wee bit, you know, predictable in terms of once you got to know the characters involved. Okay, she's dead. She's dead. She's a bitch. She's dead. But especially for a Tom Baker story, this was dark as fuck. Tom Baker is the doctor you normally associate with everything's okay in the end. He's the one guy with a scarf. Have a baby, and then move on to next week. This, I believe, which was by John Donnelly. It's not very often you get this. This is the type of story you normally associate with Seven. If I'm being honest, where nobody, you know, nobody survives. But it's still a good story. Tom Baker excels. The villain is done really well. The sound effects for the Vashta Nerada, I can't complain. Again, the Vashta Nerada, similar to the Weeping Angels, you're like, how are they going to do this on audio? And they've done a pretty good job, if you ask me, so I can't grumble. Right, guys, quickly, any events or characters that stood out for you within this tale? AJ?
Yeah, I like the Doctor's little saying to Steele. Steel can be flesh. I like that. That was very deep, I guess you could say. I also like the
Steele played by, sorry, well, who played, Pam?
That's Amanda Steele. That's
Amanda
Pam Ferris.
Yeah. Pam Ferris, okay.
I also like how they should have mentioned in this script that the planet was stripped of its trees and then they sold it off and had it pulped. Like, you know, they were saying a wink and a nod to Silence in the Library. I wish they would have done that.
You know what, that was my only gripe with the story. It was the same thing. It was essentially a forest and then it was cut down and you're like, again? Yeah, you know. Yeah.
No, it was everything was gone. Even the animals was gone. Everything was gone.
Yeah.
There was nothing.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was it.
All right, mate. Thank you. Sue, how about you? Stand up. And you're in time, Sue. I've only got 40 minutes. Come on.
Sorry. It was really interesting how Amanda, how Steele was like sort of manipulative and really, she was really dangerous actually to me. And so I liked her character a lot.
Okay. That's fair enough. Yeah, I concur with that. She was one of these ones who was a right hard-nosed bitch throughout the full story. She tried to get some type of redeeming quality towards the end, then you get the noble sacrifice. Tim, how about you, mate?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. She had a noble sacrifice at the end that was pretty good. I mean, again, I thought that was a little predictable, but still, it was a good way for the character to bow out. I also like the idea of a Rockman creature and how were the Vashta Nerada supposed to eat that and how long was it going to take? You know,
yeah.
I mean, it was like it wasn't an instant like all the humans. It was more of a struggle for them, I guess.
Fair enough. That's good. Yep. Well, how about you, mate?
Well, yeah, I like that. Of course, yeah, Steele, because she mentioned to the Fourth Doctor that she killed an entire Sontaran assassin squad. That was pretty cool. But I also like the feeling because of her being a psychic, we were able to hear. She was able to bring up the Vashta Nerada and communicate like that with them. That's how they found out it was a planet with forests and animals and all that stuff that became nothing because they wanted to build that amusement park. So she stood up pretty good. It was a little messed up how she died, but it was, it stood up pretty good.
And as a result of her dying, obviously Tom Baker relayed the message: stay away from that planet, stay away from Funland. There's still some shit down there. And as we find out with the story we're about to go into next, they didn't exactly listen. All they did was rename the planet. So yeah, good outing for me for Tom Baker. It's 55 minutes. You can't grumble. You can't really do much for an hour. It's not the best thing Big Finish has ever done, but for a standalone story, you can't really grumble. You know, it's part of a box set. Yeah, listen, it might be for you folks. Right, guys, before we go into open mic portion of the cast, let's divert to the sequel of this story, which is Day of the Vashta Nerada. Paul McGann is back as Dave Doctor, and you've got Jacqueline Pearce back as Cardinal Ollistra. We're talking many, many years later, and we're off to the races. Wow. Opening thoughts, Day of the Vashta Nerada.
Okay, the day one, I after hearing, after listening to it, you find out that it wasn't really that scientist was trying to use the Vashta Nerada as a weapon for the Time War to defeat the Daleks. They was going to drop him on Scarrow. And then, of course, they genetically made a big one, only one, and of course they had a big appetite. They had to feed a lot of cows.
Yep.
That was weird. But it's not a bad story either, because we find out that this specific Vashta Nerada was from that same planet that the Fourth Doctor was on. It was their, you say, they children like that. So that's how this is the same Vashta Nerada. And of course greed gets into this story too, because somebody tried to steal some of the eggs like that to sell it at Moldovor's bar, so we know who that bar is from. So that was pretty good. The only thing that was weird is that dude that was trying to steal him, he was in communication with a woman, and we didn't know who she was at all. That was what bugged me out. But it's not a bad story. The Fourth Doctor and this lady, they did real good in this story. For just a 55-minute story, it stood out pretty good.
Who played the scientist chick who got developed at the end of this one? Was it Eva?
Dr. Ava Morrison, that was Jan Ravens.
Jan Raven, okay, thank you. Tim, how was this one for you it's essentially a sequel, even though it's not a sequel by one line, but what do you reckon?
Well, I think this was a little more like it. I was also unaware that, or I was impressed that this is actually a bit of a prequel for the Time War box sets we're getting, because that's where this Doctor is now. And as far as he's concerned, the universe kind of gone to shit, because you got the Time Lords doing their thing, and you got the Daleks doing their thing, and everybody's caught in the middle. And you can see that this I don't know at what time this would be, but you see how desperate the Time Lords are trying to create new biological weapons out of creatures. They should know better. I mean, they should know better than to do that. He's furious about that.
Indeed.
It was really good. I mean, to get into that, and I mean, it kind of makes you, gives you a little whet your appetite for the upcoming box sets with this Doctor, because she even calls him a conscientious objector, which in a way he is. I mean, that's the vibe we got from his business in his last
outing,
in his minisode he did a few years ago. That you know what, he's just been playing around in the margins because he can't really be bothered with all this BS. But now we're going to get to see where he goes with that. I know that wasn't the point of the set. But I enjoyed this one a lot more, I think, for that reason.
Fair enough. That's that. Each to their own, man. Good stuff. Sue, how about you? Dave, the Vashta Nerada?
I liked how they took the Vashta Nerada from a creature that increased your shadows, that was in the dark, to being a day, like a light creature, of light.
the negative one, the Nashleva, what did they call that?
Nerada Vashta.
Nerada Vashta.
Yeah, so I mean, like they had manipulated things in the last one a little bit, but this one they were like, here we go, we'll make a big one, and then we'll make a light, a whole light one. So like that's the way.
All right, cheers, mate. AJ, how about you? Dave, the Vashta Nerada, what do you reckon?
I agree with a lot with what Tim and Willis said, but for me, I think this is more of a cautionary tale, sort of like, I saw a lot of winks and nods to Jurassic Park in this. I don't know if anyone else did, but I did. And like, they're messing around with it, they're feeding it cows like they did the raptors. You've got, the guy running away with the samples to sell them off to the mysterious person. I just saw a wink and nod after wink and nod to Jurassic Park. It was brilliant.
Fair enough. Well, that's a good comparison if you've seen the movies, I guess. For me, I enjoyed this. Jacqueline Pearce, I just can't get enough of her Cardinal Ollistra. Whether it's with Paul McGann or whether it's with the late great John Hurt, she's just phenomenal in that role for me, man. She's just uppity. She's condescending. She's just like. She just can't be bothered with anything when about her, regardless of the peril, and it's phenomenal to listen to. And I look forward to hearing more with her as we go down the road with Paul McGann and his new Time War companion played by Raki Fakar come October. Good stuff. You can see where this fits into his timeline. It's a good sequel to the Tom Baker story, and the last line uttered by McGann in this audio, "I'm a doctor, not a warrior," would suggest we are slowly heading towards Night of the Doctor. So, big finish for filling in those blanks, people. Good stuff. Right, guys. Any events or characters that stood out for you within this tale quickly? Dave, the Vashta Nerada, AJ.
At the beginning of the story where the Doctor just steps out of the TARDIS, it's all calm and everything. He's like, no, don't worry, I'm here to save you. You're all cool. Just make an orderly line and come with me.
Yeah.
That was
good
awesome.
stuff. Yeah, good stuff, mate. Well, what are you, mate?
Well, besides the Dr. Ollistra, this chick, I also liked that big bear person that sacrificed himself to save them like that. I think his name was Commander Vasda.
Played by.
He was he played that Tim Wallace. He played Vasda and Chief Rowden. He did the 2 roles. So that was pretty good. That was sad.
Who played the head of the guards of Ollistra's guards? The one.
I think that was the same person. But he did 2 roles.
Okay.
He did 2 roles.
Right.
The biotech I felt aside for it because she wanted to do this to try to end the war, but of course, it didn't turn out the way she wanted, and she paid the price.
Yeah, I had a lot of empathy for the head of the guards in this one. He was another one. Obviously, made the noble sacrifice towards the end of this thing, so the TARDIS could dematerialize when they put them in space. To no avail, unfortunately, to Eva. But there you go. Tim, didn't stand up for you in this one.
Yeah, I agree with you about Jackie Pierce. I mean, I can't stand that bitch at all. And I mean, I think that's the point. That's the point. That is the credit of the actress, because she is just, man, I remember all she did in those Time War sets. She was always trying to manipulate him and stuff. And that's just all she does. And she acts so hoity-toity while doing it, like, hey, so it's like, yeah, I can't stand her.
Yeah, good stuff for Jackie Pierce. 1, 2, 3. Sue? No, wait, I get everybody.
That's Tim just stole mine, and I was just gonna say, Ollistra is intense and wonderful and manipulative and hateful, and I agree.
All right, champion. All right, guys, open mic portion of the cast. Night and day of the Vashta Nerada. Anything you want to bring up before we get them both rated and in the can?
Yeah, it was shocking. He listened to that. The TARDIS did not have a 0 room. And that Vashta Nerada was able to get inside. I'm like, wow! And I look, and of course, what the solution was to get rid of them. I was bugged out, because this guy had to sacrifice himself to save Ollistra. That's messed up.
Okay. Anything else?
I would just say this is a very good set for a newbie. If you want to get introduced into the Big Finish dramas, this is a good way to do it, because you get 4 different doctors doing 4 different things with characters you've seen on TV recently, probably. So I mean, this is a good set to start with if you're looking for a way in.
That's true. Good point. Anything else, guys? Okay, and I would just say I'd like to see the Vashta Nerada on TV again. I mean, I know that they were essentially a moth creation, but I don't think you would have any bugbears about bringing them back if the Chib would want to, so why no? If done right, I'd like to see them again. In terms of these sets, they are good for newbies. If you're new to Big Finish and just trying to bed yourself in, so as Tim alluded to, give them a try. Why not? And for me, it's a case of not a bad sequel. How they 2 stories run in parallel, how you've got A, the Vashta Nerada, B, a noble sacrifice, and C, with the exception of Ollistra, only 1 survivor by the end. So they kind of are running parallel, apart from the fact one's night and one's day. So I quite like that about the 2 stories as well. So why not? Right, guys, if there's nothing else, I guess it's that time again.
For us to tell a certain cream puff, we're gonna get you later.
Yes, apparently he called uncle when he's not here. So what can you do? Right, guys, night and day of the Vashta Nerada, Big Finish, Classic Doctors, New Monsters, stories number 1 and number 4. Tom Baker and Paul McGann. Okay, AJ, Night and Day of the Vashta Nerada, what do you give out of 10? First off, Night of the Vashta Nerada, what do you give out of 10?
For Night, I will give it a 7 out of 10. I didn't like the ending where the Doctor was very, he didn't seem angry. He couldn't save anyone.
It was kind of as if he just didn't give a fuck. Ooh, no one's alive. Okay, off into the TARDIS I go. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about Day of the Vashta Nerada? What do you reckon?
That one I'm going to give a 9 out of 10 because I really liked the whole laboratory setting. It almost felt Jurassic Park meets Resident Evil a little. So it was pretty cool, I thought.
All right, man. AJ likes Jurassic World / Park and Resident Evil. Timbo, Night of the Vashta Nerada. What do you reckon, mate?
I'll give it an 8. I don't think the Doctor was that nonchalant about it, but I mean, you know how the fourth Doctor is. He's not gonna show that much emotion.
Yeah. Okay. And Paul McGann and Day of the Vashta Nerada, mate. What would you?
I'll give that one a 9.5. It was very good. Very good intro to this whole war Doctor. I mean, Time War. Yeah. All right. So, Night of the Vashta Nerada, starring Tom Baker. What say you?
I'll give that one an 8 out of 10, and I'll give the.
Hang on. Let me set the scene. Okay, you'll give that an 8 out of 10. And Day of the Vashta Nerada, starring Paul McGann. Go for it, dearie.
I'll give that one a 9 out of 10. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say
Yeah. Come on, get with the program. Jesus Christ. Okay, well, Tom Baker and Night of the Vashta Nerada, what says NYC?
The Tom Baker one, I give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. And we slip to number 8 and Paul McGann with Day of the Vashta Nerada alongside Jacqueline Pierce. You give it?
A 9.5 out of 10.
There you go. For me, I will give Night of the Vashta Nerada a 8.5 out of 10. Very enjoyable outing with Tom Baker on his lonesome in Funworld. And for Day of the Vashta Nerada, with Paul McGann and Jackie Pierce slap bang in the middle of the Time War and all that malarkey, I will give it a 9 out of 10. Good shit, good stuff. And we're off to the races down Time War way. Roll in October when Raki Fakar's, her character name escapes me, I believe it's Hope or Bliss or something, but when she comes to town. Well, guys, done, dusted, in the can, and another one finito for this week. Thanks to the panel for joining me, as always. For those who were able to attend, it's always a pleasure. And it now just leaves me to say, I don't know what we're doing next week because we didn't arrange it before we fucking started recording.
Well, let them be surprised next week when we do the audio.
Okay, you know what? We're just going to say fuck yous, and we'll say whatever we do next week, you can be surprised. So we'll tie up with you then, and I look forward to tackling that. As always, guys, please check out our guys and dolls out at the Geeks Assemble, Dr. Freedom and his daily news broadcasts and his Omega Files, as well as Adventures of Dr. Freedom and Eric. The new story will be unveiled shortly, I believe, as part 12 is almost in the can, so we look forward to that. We've got Sue there with TARDIS Blue Radio. We've got Harry with Doctor Who Use and all the rest of it. Mike Shannon, Johnny Blue, Sammy Carter. You know the drill. Like, share, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down. Let's all have a dance. And for that, we are out of here, and I've got a 9-minute warning. That's great timing. Adios, folks. Take care of yourself and each other. And with that, we are out of here, and keep on drinking. Fuckity bye.